This is a little starter video on programming the Arduino Nano. So you've bought your Arduino Nano and you go like, where do I start? I want to try and program this to get the T800 head to work. Where do I start from? Well, we're going to start from the very basics just to get this little LED that's on board here to light up. And we'll start with that and we'll go forward from that. If you can get that to work, then it's not going to be too difficult to move on from there. So you've bought your Arduino Nano, and hopefully you've taken my advice when I've said to you to make sure that you buy the RS232 one and not one of the clones. And why do I say that? Because there are clones out there. If we scroll down here, you'll see here there's the F232. Now what you're trying to do is buy the one with the F232 chip. And the ch340 is one of the Arduino clones, and you may find there's difficulty if you've bought one. Yes, you can buy a cheaper one on eBay or whatever, and it might be one of these clones, but I found that sometimes those don't work. So you're best just to go to the Arduino, Arduino.cc, and go and buy the Arduino from this site. That way you know you're getting an actual real, not a clone chip, but the actual real chip from Arduino. Now, it's going to cost you about £20 for that, rather than maybe you might get one for £12 on eBay. But it's better to go for that. So once you've bought that, where do we start? Well, we need something similar like Notepad, where you can actually download and write the code in, where you might open Notepad and you would use Notepad then to write text. You'll want to use a program to be able to write the code for the Arduino. So if you go to the Arduino site and you click on software, you'll down this thing called the IDE. Now, this is the newest version, which is 2.0. Now, I'm not using that. I'm still using the old version. So if you scroll on down, it shows you the old version here, 1.8.19. So you can click on this, and there's the various downloads. You download that, either as a zip file, whatever, you run that. And because this is the actual real site, Arduino.cc, it's not going to be full of viruses or anything, so you're safe to go and down this and run this. This will then give you an icon on the desktop, and you can run this up, and it will start up, and you're able then to start to write your code. So you can start putting your code into these loops. Now, before we even get to that stage, I want to show you about connecting the Arduino to start with. So if we go and run up Device Manager, so if I put in DV, start up Device Manager, and we then scroll down to look at the USB ports, you'll see on here, now yours will look slightly different. But here you'll see, before I've even plugged this in, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USB connections there. Now, if I then take my Arduino Nano and I plug in the micro USB cable to just your ordinary standard USB cable, so I plug this in here, and this will power up the Arduino. So you'll see that the Arduino starts up, and the light comes on to say that it's actually been powered. Now, if we go back to the screen and back to the Device Manager, you'll see now, if we scroll back down to the USB and new entry in the USB, now you should be able to see this with once you've connected this. It may ask you for drivers, just like you would install maybe a mouse or a keyboard or any other USB device. So you might then need to follow that to say yes, set up the device driver, and what you should then see is an additional entry to what you used to have before you connected the Arduino, and this is the USB serial converter. So it's now talking to that FT232 chip on that via that USB. If you then scroll to look at the ports, you'll see a new port has appeared. So before you maybe, and here I only had these 2 ports, but now this new one has appeared, USB serial port COM6. So now this has appeared as COM6 on the on my Device Manager. You'll need this because when you roll to here, you're going to need to set up a connection to your actual Arduino. So you'll need to select in this tools part the board Arduino Nano. As you can see there, I've selected board Arduino Nano. You'll need to select this processor here, AT Mega 328 old booter. You need to select that out of the 3 choices. You'll see there's the top one, the middle one, so you need to select that. And then here you'll see port 6. Now I've selected port 6 because that's what my Device Manager is showing. If your Device Manager shows 4 or 5 or whatever, that's the port that you actually need to choose, because that has now been connected to when you've connected your Arduino Nano. So those are the two settings, those are the settings you need to set up for. Set the board to Arduino Nano, set the processor to the old bootloader, and set the port to whatever port you have in your device manager. And that now allows this IDE to be connected. So what are we going to do? The first thing we're going to do is there's an onboard LED on this little Nano. You can see at the moment there's an LED lit up. That's just lit up to show that there's power on there. But the first thing we're going to do is going to try and make that another LED that's on there flash. So how do we do that, and how do we write that code? Well, actually it's really simple. There's already an example on there. So if we go to Sketch, and what was it? Examples, right? Hold on. Examples, sorry. So File, Examples, and you'll see here Examples, Built-in Basics, and we're going to go for Basics, and we'll go for Blink. So if we select Blink, it opens this. If I scroll that up, what this is doing is this is turning an LED on for 1 second, then off for 1 second. You don't even have to write this. This has already been all written for you, so you don't have to do anything at all. This is just how it works. Is it sets up this little pin mode, and then it writes to the LED, switching it on and switching it off. So it's very simple. It's already built in. You don't have to write a single thing. What you then need to do is you've loaded that, and you need to then upload that, and providing you've set these values I was setting before of the Arduino, the processor and the board, you then do upload, and if you click on upload, it will now upload to the, you can see down in the bottom left hand corner here where it's basically saying it's uploaded. Maybe you'll see it said it's done uploading. It tells you then how much it's loaded. So everything's okay. There's no error messages in there. So it's done uploading. So now what should happen is this should be blinking an LED on and off. And as you can see, there it is. That LED onboard LED is now flashing on and off, on and off. So that's your first program uploaded to the Arduino Nano, and there you go. Now we can even change that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the screen here, and we're going to change that to 2 seconds. So I'm going to change that off to 2, and change that delay to 2. And now what happened is, if we then do the same again, where we go to Tools, Upload, it will then be compiling the sketch. It then is uploading, saying it's taking its time to upload. It's done uploading. And now what we should see is it's now flashing, but it's taking 2 seconds. So it's flashing slower. And there you go. That's the beginnings of programming your Arduino. Thank you.